Okay, looks like we're gonna have to resort to recording because streaming isn't working out with my setup. It's not entirely unexpected, but I was hoping I would be able to get everything together and stream the Pokemon Direct live, but c'est la vie. So the Direct should be starting any second now. We're at 9 a.m. Let's see what is in store. Since I'm starting so late, I don't have much time for predictions, but I'm kind of feeling like we might get something very simple since this is only 12 minutes long. My thoughts immediately go to a black and white remake. I feel like that is going to be on the slate. Strongest guess is black and white remake or another Legends game. Outside chance, in my mind, is a something related to Gold and Silver. Let's Go 2 or a Legends Arceus style game based on Johto, which have also been speculations, but I feel like we should go simple with this because it is only 12 minutes. Also, with it being only 12 minutes, I feel like there'll be a little bit less focus or less time devoted to the spin-off games. So we should probably get to the announcement at the end, but we'll get there pretty quickly. Okay, we've got good old Pikachu. Unknown following Pikachu. That's a big sign. Pokemon Presents. So the fact that there was Gold and Silver music in the description is telling,
from the Pokemon Company.
and it did turn out to
Today,
have meaning.
February 27 is Pokemon Day. This is the date that the Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green games were first released in Japan. Our adventures with Pokemon, which started with the simple fun of collecting, trading, and battling in the
So
Pokemon
Red
Red and
and
Pokemon
Green.
Green games, have expanded to fit into so many facets of daily life, including walking and sleeping. We'll keep challenging ourselves to create new ways to enjoy Pokemon, and we hope you'll continue your adventures with us.
So they did actually
Today,
use Gold and
we will
Silver
be bringing
music.
you all the latest news about Pokemon, including our newest titles.
And they've
Miss
shown the
Utsunomiya,
unknown.
Please take it away.
Hello, I'm Utsunomiya from the Pokemon Company.
Utsunomiya.
I hope everyone has enjoyed their adventures in the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games so far.
To commemorate Pokemon Day, we've planned a series of Terra Raid battle events where you'll be able to face off against a mighty Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard.
Okay,
The first of
Venusaur,
these Terra Raid battle
Blastoise, and
events will begin
Charizard.
tomorrow. We hope you will all enjoy these raids. Today, I'd also like to share the latest updates on a number of our other games. Please have a look at this.
Looking at the background, and I'm not seeing any clues so far. There was a hint for the Terra raids for Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise.
A
Pokemon Go
collaboration event
X
with Pokemon Go
Horizons.
is on its way.
Outfits based on the characters, perhaps?
Pikachu wearing Cap's
Yep.
hat is making its debut. It even knows an
Cap's
attack
hat
new to
Pikachu.
Pokemon Go, Volt Tackle.
Volt Tackle coming to Pokemon Go as a move. Okay.
Charcadet, Armor Rouge, and Ceruledge are coming too. And Liko and Roy will be dropping in when you snap a pic in Go
Charcadet.
Snapshot. So set out on an adventure with your new friends.
No outfits for Liko and Roy. That's interesting. But I suppose they haven't really done outfits for anime characters. Not to a very large extent in Pokemon Go. Raikou coming to Pokemon Sleep. once again related to something related to Gold and Silver. Raikou coming in March, Entei and Suicune to follow. So could they do a Legends Johto this year and then have the Black and White remakes next year? That could be what the plan is.
We're just getting started. We're the greatest in the world. You're the greatest and strongest
Silver.
warrior I could ask for. Fight!
Yeah, they're leaning heavily into the Gold and Silver for this, so kind of gives a big feeling that this is going to be a Gold and Silver related announcement. Let's see what Cafe Remix has in store. That's Golden Go. Though typically Pokemon that show up in the spin-off games and themes that show up on the spin-off games are not super connected to what happens with the main series game, but I feel like in this case there is a connection happening, combined with the overall theme of the presentation. Like, if they didn't use Unknown in the intro and Gold and Silver music as the starting background music, then there wouldn't be too much to go on. But the fact that they did that is, I believe, a huge hint. So we got Phalanx, Swirledge, ooh, and Miraidon. So we've got some stuff coming to Pokemon Unite. They're doing a good job of moving at a good pace through the spin-off stuff.
Moving on, please have a look at this video.
Okay, we've got a video. We got a pack. Oh, this is Pokemon Live. So you can send packs through Pokemon Live? Is that what they're saying? Open packs. That's on the phone. They're showing on mobile. Okay. Collect cards. Counter new favorites. Okay, you can trade. Over the internet, yes. Quick battles. So is this like an overhaul for Pokemon Live? New Pokemon species, TCG experience. Immersive cards. Oh, that's cool. You can kind of go inside and see the art. It's about time they did something to improve the state of the virtual trading card game. Pokemon Live, I haven't used it as much as I've used TCG Online. Trading card game Pocket, okay. 2 packs per day at no cost, coming in 2024. Looks like that could be good.
What you just saw was the world's first look at Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket.
Pokemon Trading Card Game
lets you
Pocket.
easily collect Pokemon cards, which players all over the world have enjoyed since
So,
they debuted in 1996.
Can these
But
cards be
in a new
transferred
digital
to
format.
Trading Card Game Live?
The Pokemon Company is developing this game as a three-party collaboration with Creatures Inc., the creators of the Pokemon trading card game, and DNA, are partners in the development of Pokemon Masters EX. To mark the launch of this title, here's a message
DNA
from
has
Mr. Yuji
shown
Kitano,
a pretty good record
President and
with
CEO of
their
Creatures.
Pokemon Masters, so
Mr. Kitano, take it away.
there's some
Hello,
confidence
everyone.
there.
I'm Yuji Kitano from Creatures Inc. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for enjoying
the
Pokemon
president of
trading card
Creatures.
game. With Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, we hope to bring you all a new way to enjoy the Pokemon trading card game, so we are hard at work developing digital cards. When we develop physical cards, we strive to please by taking great care with our paper quality, colors, and printing process. Since this game uses mobile devices rather than paper, we're challenging ourselves to express that care in new ways that are only possible digitally, such as using the characteristics of the screen to show off brilliant colors and stylish effects.
Okay.
One way we're accomplishing this is with immersive cards, which give players the experience of leaping into the world of the card illustration. What's more, we've developed new streamlined game rules based on our existing battle system, so you can enjoy a quick battle during the free moments in your day.
Okay, so it's a truncated version of the game for the quick
Our
battles,
three companies are all working hard to deliver a fun experience for those of you
which
who
means this
already
probably
enjoyed the
won't have a
Pokemon
lot
trading
of
card game,
interactivity
as well
with
as those who've
Pokemon
never played
Live.
before. We hope you look forward to the results of our latest efforts in the world of the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon
This might be
Trading
sort
Card
of a
Game Pocket. Thank you
sort of
so
a
much.
casual endeavor to get people kind of
Thank you,
playing,
Mr. Kitano.
sort of interested in the game casually, and then they move on
We
to
plan to launch
Pokemon Live.
Trading Card Game Pocket within 2024.
Yep, sometime this
Please
year.
look forward to more details in the future.
Kind of feel like we'll be towards the end of the year.
Just one more thing. We'd like to end today's presentation with one final video for you all.
And here
Thank
comes
you
the
for
final
tuning in.
video. We've got gold and silver music leading into it. Here come the unknown again. Soeyue. Question mark. It's from Game Freak, okay. Confidential urban redevelopment plan city. There's a beautiful coexistence between people and Pokemon. Urban. Ooh. Is that a fake out with the gold and silver stuff? That would be interesting. This is looking kind of... Lumio City. Yeah, that is Lumio City, isn't it? Lumio City, yep. Urban redevelopment plan, Lumio City. Pokemon Legends. Z. That's cool. So they skipped right to Lumio City for this. Simultaneously worldwide in 2025. So January 2025 or beyond. Mega Evolution returns. Oh, that's big. So that kind of blew away my expectation there. I was thinking that we would see something more along the lines of what people were expecting, which was a Legends game related to, if there was a Legends game, it would be either related to Black and White, replacing the remake, or sort of supplementing it the way the Legends Arceus sort of supplemented the Diamond and Pearl remakes, or it would be something related to Johto. I was hoping it wouldn't be related to Johto because I just don't feel that there's a lot to offer there. But I don't think anyone really expected anything related to X and Y. It's a really smart decision doing X and Y Legends game related to Lumio City and X and Y, because that brings Mega Evolution back into the picture, and Mega Evolution, I believe, is the favorite of the battle mechanics that have been introduced over the last few generations of Pokemon. So it's really exciting. I know that a lot of people are going to be really happy to see Mega Evolution potentially returning. The problem is that it's a Legends Arceus game, or Legends game, and we've only had one so far, but if Legends Arceus was setting the standard, then we know that the Legends games aren't competitive, so they won't be used as the VGC titles. But with Mega Evolution there, I kind of have a feeling that they're not going to let this opportunity to reintroduce Mega Evolutions be just limited to the Legends Arceus game, or the Legends game. I'm going to have to get used to saying Legends. I could say Legends Z. I get used to that. So Legends Z, if they're reintroducing Mega Evolutions, I think they're going to want to use Mega Evolutions in the VGC. Also, if that's the case, then now see, if that's the case, then we could have a Legends game as the main VGC title. And if that is the case, then that means, are we seeing the Legends series get an upgrade in status from sort of Game Freak developed side game to main series title? Because so far only the main series titles have been usable as the VGC, official VGC titles. I didn't think about it in the past, but that's the reason why, say, the Diamond and Pearl remakes and Let's Go and Legends Arceus were not ever used. They, first of all, didn't have the full suite of battle mechanics for the players to expect, and the full suite of online features for players. And secondly, they were never used as the official VGC software for the video game championships. And that is because of their status as the sort of Game Freak developed side games to the main series games. So if we are moving into an era where Legends Arceus moves from game that is not series, that is where the Legends series moves from series that is not usable in the VGC to game series that is usable in the VGC alongside whether the official games are, that would be a huge shift. But it would mean that the Legends Z would have to be full featured. It would have to be a full featured Pokemon game to be used as the official VGC software. So there's a question mark there. I kind of feel like it's possible it would be ideal if they're reintroducing Mega Evolutions to have the Mega Evolutions show up in VGC. But on the other hand, that does kind of throw things on its ear in terms of what the format's going to be going forward and what games we already know, main series games or VGC games. Interesting. And if Legends becomes VGC games also, but then we have to stop and think about what happened in the year that Legends Arceus released. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl also released. But that was another side Game Freak developed side game to the main series. So, oh wait, what am I saying? Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was a side game, but it was not Game Freak developed. It was developed by ILCA, which is the part of the reason why it was so poorly received. And it's the first spin-off to be developed by someone other than Game Freak. And it was not a success in terms of fan reception. So I kind of feel like their Game Freak is going to be moving away from that. Sort of in the same way that they kind of moved away from the Let's Go format. Even though I believe the Let's Go thing was a one-time experiment. And if it saw like huge mega gangbuster success, then Game Freak would have continued on with Let's Go. But since it only saw pretty middling success and it wasn't super well received, it was kind of a mixed bag. My thinking is that we're probably done for Legends Arceus, or excuse me, we're probably done with Let's Go. Unless Game Freak decides they want to experiment with the revival sometime way down the line. But what we have is Legends Z, Lumio City Urban Development Project. That wording suggests Urban Development Project. That suggests that either it's some sort of development going on in present day Lumio City, some kind of expansion, or it could be the creation of Lumio City. It could be the vision that the original founders and creators of Lumio City ultimately had for the city. And the game could be following the development and creation of Lumio City. Will this game be limited to just Lumio City? Is the question. I feel like it shouldn't be, but it's very likely that it will be, because if it isn't, it's the same case with Legends Arceus. If too much is in the game, then it eventually eliminates the need for remakes of the generation it was based on, because so much of it becomes redundant. So if the way Legends Z is set up gives a taste of Lumio City and a taste of what the Kalos region was like, it can sort of refresh players and whet their appetites for Kalos in Generation 10. Because we'll get... I'm of the mind that we should get black and white remakes during Generation 9. So we could get the Lumiose Project early 2025, black and white remakes late 2025 or early 2026. Late 2025, black and white remakes, or early 2026. Yeah. No, because black and white remakes, late 2025. Very possible. I think super likely. Because with the successor to the Switch hardware incoming, Generation 10 has to be for that. It has to be for the new hardware. Because Game Freak doesn't want to make the mistake that they made with the Switch, where they look at how the Wii U wasn't successful and decided to be reserved regarding the Switch and not go full in. And because of that, they ended up behind on development for the Switch, which is why we ended up with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee being the first Pokemon games on the Switch. Not the main series. They're this new experimental thing from Game Freak. They didn't have the full suite of game mechanics. They didn't have the full suite of online options. It was great for what it was, but not a way to introduce Pokemon, have Pokemon make a grand debut on the Nintendo Switch. That's why there was such a gap between Let's Go and then eventually we got Sword and Shield, which was a real proper Pokemon new generation debut on the Switch hardware. I have a feeling that Game Freak wants to avoid that this time around. They want to have a new game, new generation, full-featured Pokemon game in development for the next Nintendo hardware, for the Switch successor. They want to have that in development now, so they can release on that console probably during the first year, at the earliest during the first year, at the latest into the second year. Which means that there is a possibility that we get Legends Z 2025. It'll be the last Pokemon title for the Nintendo Switch. Then we get Generation 10 on the Switch 2. And then black and white remakes could be part of Generation 10, which would mean we would skip a remake in this generation. Have we done that before? Let's think. In Generation 3, we got the first remakes. In Generation 4, we got the second remakes. In Generation 5, there were no remakes. There was Black and White 2. In Generation 6, we had remakes of Ruby and Sapphire. in Generation 7, there were no remakes. Yeah. Generation 6 and Generation 7, there were no remakes. Yeah, because we got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Generation 8, we got Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Generation 9, we could get no remakes. We get Legends Z. And then in Generation 10, we could get the black and white remakes. So it's actually possible, because it seems that since Generation 3, starting in Generation 5 actually, every other generation has skipped remakes entirely. So we could be actually looking at a situation where this generation, Generation 9, will have no remakes. Then Generation 10 will have the black and white remakes. But that also puts the idea of proper full-on remakes for X and Y well into the future. We're talking close to 2030. So, which it's possible. It's actually quite possible. So that could be what the ultimate result of this announcement is in terms of what it means for the release schedule going forward. And that is if my thinking on what Game Freak wants their development cycle to be like in relation to the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware, if my thinking on that is correct. If my thinking is not correct, then it's entirely possible that we'll get Legends Z. Then we'll get black and white remakes and they will be the last Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch. And they could release 2025, late 2025, or even early 2026, but I don't know if they'll want to release something early 2026 because that will be into the life cycle of the new hardware. So at that point, it would be ideal to have it on the new hardware. There is a possibility they could be ultimately developing to double dip and have the title appear on both hardware, the Nintendo Switch and the new hardware. That is a possibility. Game Freak has never done that before, so there's a big question mark on how that would be implemented. If they would consider that, A, and B, how they would implement it if they did go through that plan. So it's possible, but I feel like for the sake of simplicity, it would be easier to consider that black and white remakes would either be on the Nintendo Switch, A, release in 2026 and be on or late 2025, be on the Nintendo Switch, A, or B, skip this in generation entirely, and in Generation 10, we will get the black and white remakes. Both of those are strong possibilities in my mind. So I think that's probably likely, considering Then on the outside chances, look at outside chances. Outside chances are a double release for Black and White remakes. They could release on the Switch and the new Nintendo hardware. Like I said, that's a less likely possibility, outside possibility. Another outside possibility is Generation 10 being delayed. Well, not delayed because it hasn't even been announced yet, but having a longer development cycle than what we've been used to in Pokemon games. That is, in my mind, a really outside possibility because what would they do? It's become a yearly to bi-yearly franchise at this point in terms of always having a new game, not in terms of always having a new main series game, but in terms of having a new game, a new Pokemon game that is playable, that is close to the traditional Pokemon style, even if it's not fully featured, which was the case with Legends Arceus, Let's Go. So they could do that, but if they did do that, if Generation 10 was delayed, or not delayed, if it had a longer development cycle, how would they fill that extra year at the very least? They could stretch things out by having Legends Z 2025, Black and White remakes 2026. And if it's in 2026, it doesn't matter what hardware it's on, but actually it does matter what hardware it's on, which is why I think if Black and White remakes were to release in 2026, the likelihood of them being a double up situation increases. In 2025, I think it's still on the lower end. Possibility that Black and White releases on both Nintendo Switch and the Switch successor. If it released in 2026, I think the possibility increases that Black and White 2 releases on both the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch successor. And if it does, then it could release late 2026, even mid 2026. Both consoles, it would be the Pokemon game of that year. Then 2027 would be open for Generation 10. Now, Game Freak did that before, sort of by accident, with how they were timid in approaching the Nintendo Switch hardware, which ended up with Black and White releasing further into the Switch's life cycle and not closer to the beginning where Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee released. So if that is the case, Generation 10 in 2027, I mean, they've done it before, and Sword and Shield were successful. I believe they were the most successful games on the Nintendo Switch hardware. So it's possible they could do that. Another possibility is, let's see, outside possibilities. I think that covers outside possibilities unless we want to throw in what I think is a really long Hail Mary and say, Let's Go Johto was not announced in this Nintendo Direct, but next year So Pokemon Gate Day 2025. Let's Go Johto is announced. And it's announced for the end of 2025. So let's see. In that event, we have Let's Go Johto. That also means that depending, let's see, if Legends Z is fully featured enough to be the VGC game, then that creates an entirely new metagame that will last for a couple of years. VGC metagame. So Let's Go can be just like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was. And our clock for game releases becomes Gold and Silver Remakes 2026. Gen 10 2027, that stays the same. Or if we skip Gold and Silver Remakes, or excuse me, if we skip the Black and White remakes. So Let's Go Johto 2026. And then Gen 10 2027. And the Black and White remakes during Generation 10. That seems less likely to me because I feel like there will be some, as much as people hype out the people that really, really, really like the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games, as much as they hype them out, I don't think that Legends Johto is going to have the type of impact that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did. I feel like the diminishing returns on the Let's Go series are a lot quicker than the main series games, considering how the games are designed. And Game Freak is known for both innovating and then kind of devolving. So 1 step forward and 2 steps back sort of situation, in which case we could see 2 steps back in the case of a Legends Johto game. So my thinking is, as I said before, my thinking is Let's Go is off the table now. Especially considering they used I mean, yeah, all the context clues they provided were actually a bait and switch, which I am quite pleased with, actually. So I do think Let's Go is off the table. Good. So what we are looking at is Legends good. And then we are looking at the possibility of black and white remakes later, or skipping the generation entirely. I would be fine with either one. In fact, if what we're looking at here is a situation where ILCA is no longer going to be developing Pokemon games, at least not main series Pokemon games, or maybe there'll be an overhaul in the way ILCA is approaching these games. Maybe Game Freak will have more oversight, and Game Freak will dictate that ILCA in their development process does something more similar to what a Game Freak style remake would be. Because that's the thing, I think nobody that wants a black and white remake wants it to be from ILCA, or the ILCA that created Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl, that design philosophy. They definitely don't want that. They want something more akin to what Game Freak was doing with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or Heart Gold Soul Silver, or Fire Red and Leaf Green. They want a remake like that. So, in that case, if they're doing a remake like that means the games are fully functioning, fully capable of being the VGC game. And if that's the case, then we consider the upcoming black and white remakes, if they're developed in that way, then they would be the next main series Pokemon games coming along. And that extends the life cycle of the generation if they drop in Generation 9. If they are full-featured Pokemon games, then they can't drop in Generation 10 early. They have to drop later, towards the middle or end of that generation's life cycle. Which means a full-on delay well into Generation 10. If it's not full-featured, if it is an ILCA-style game, then they could release it. They could actually double up and release it on top of the same year as Legends, or even release it on its own and just kind of let it float there. They could do that too, because it's the end of the Switch's life cycle anyway, and most players by 2026 or mid to late 2025 will be looking at moving on to the next Switch hardware. But since it does have such a massive install base, the new Switch is not going to reach that level of install base overnight. It's going to need time. So looking at just the install base numbers, sticking to the Nintendo Switch is ideal if your game is not as intensive and ambitious as a Scarlet and Violet. So yeah. And actually that does bring up a question. But I think that question sort of answers itself when you think about it. It's going to be a Legends game. So Legends Z is going to be like Legends Arceus was. Which means I don't think it's going to be built or maybe it will be built, but I don't think it's going to be built in the Legends Arceus engine. But I don't think it can be built on the Scarlet and Violet engine without having issues, the same type of running issues that Scarlet and Violet had. But after having so much success with Legends Arceus, I feel like Game Freak doesn't want to put Legends Arceus in that, or Legends Z in that situation, where it's on the Scarlet and Violet engine. It has the sluggish slowdowns and low frame rate and glitches and stuff. So do they take the Legends Arceus engine, revamp it, and update it, and then make that into Legends Z? Or do they start from the ground up? But I don't think starting from the ground up is very smart with the resources they have and what they could be planning in the future. And there's no actual gameplay in the trailer, so all we can do is speculate at this time. But yeah, that's what I think. I think probably the best thing to do is just take the Legends Arceus engine, revamp, update it, and use that because it will have the best runtime, the best sort of running experience on the Switch hardware for players, so it will be well received. And they could even, if they were going to make it to VGC game, I guess, well, yeah, if they're going to make it to VGC game, then it has to be in the Scarlet and Violet engine. It has to be compatible. So, But then if this game, if Legends Z is on the Scarlet and Violet engine, and it has all the issues of the Scarlet and Violet engine, that's not going to be enough to hinder sales, but people are going to be critical of it. And I mean, I guess they can deal with that. They've dealt with it for all the years since Scarlet and Violet's release. And they'll be moving on to the new hardware soon. But I feel like they don't want to tarnish the Legends series name, since the Legends series name has such goodwill going for it so far. Kind of feel like they don't want to risk that. But if they use just the Legends Arceus engine, then it's not going to be compatible with Scarlet and Violet's engine. That's my thinking. So it will end up being just like Legends Arceus, where it's not a fully featured, fully fleshed out, it will be the VGC title of the year kind of Pokemon game. That is a possibility. Then there's another outside possibility, but this is really outside because I'm pretty sure they announced that after the Blueberry Academy DLC, that was the end. The Game Freak is done. No more DLC for Scarlet and Violet planned. No more DLC for Scarlet and Violet in development. So this is really, really, really outside, like maybe 1% chance that they change their mind and start developing DLC for Scarlet and Violet. But that would be such a waste of development resources that they could be putting into the Generation 10, overhauling and improving Scarlet and Violet's engine so that they could add some more DLC to it and use DLC to extend the life of the generation alongside Legend Z. That's possible, but it's a really, really outside possibility. But I think that is probably the bulk of my speculation here. I kind of went on a little tirade there, but I think it was helpful in helping me kind of get an idea of what my thinking is of what this means. So let's go back and watch the trailer again and see if we can pick up anything else now that I've sort of speculated. Now we'll see if, looking at a second time, if I can add some new speculation. That is if, there we go. Let's see if we can get back to the start. Confidential, no gameplay footage, urban redevelopment plan. It's a redevelopment plan, not a development plan. So Lumia City already exists, and this is a redevelopment, which means it's in the present or slightly in the future for setting. So that's good. Now, who is redeveloping Lumia City? Let's try and look at the Pokemon. So we've got Pyroar, and who else is that? Pyroar. And the pre-evolution of Pyroar. Okay. Pikachu, Floette. Is that a new Furfrou? Or a Furfrou form that we're familiar with? I think it's a Furfrou that we know. Got Klefki, Baby. Yes, I think that's a familiar Furfrou. I have to look. Is that Fletchinder? Kind of looks like Fletchinder. Who's that over there? Gyarados. Let's see if there is... Because YouTube is kind of finicky like that. Good. Let's just get the trailer itself without the live stream. That will be much easier to handle. Legends. Furfrou, Flababy, Fletchinder. And something. So we've got Dratini, or not Dratini, Dragonair, looks like Dragonair. And who is that? I'm sure we can figure out what that Pokemon is. It's not anything new. But I'd like to figure out, oh, Hawlucha, that's gotta be Hawlucha. The silhouette there. So yeah, this is a whole bunch of Pokemon that appeared in X and Y, which makes sense. There's Emolga, we've got Sylveon, and Aegislash. We've got people walking around the background. It kind of looks like that is the Scarlet and Violet engine, but this isn't actual gameplay footage. This is just a sort of a CGI trailer. So none of this is gameplay footage. And people walked around Lumia City even in X and Y, so it's not like having NPCs walking around is new or unique to Scarlet and Violet. It looks like maybe it's Raichu. I don't know why I'm still trying to look and see what Pokemon are there. But there's Lumia's Tower. It's definitely Lumia City. And then we have this part where it shows off 5 sections Lumia City. I should look up a map of Lumia City and see if these are all the sections that showed up in X and Y. I believe that they are. Urban Redevelopment Project, which means they're redeveloping Lumia City, the existing Lumia City, making new additions and rethinking and reshaping things. So how far could this redevelopment project go? And is that the current Lumia City, or is this the ideal future Lumia City? We could take this map and compare it to the current map and see if they line up. Lumia City. Urban Redevelopment Plan. Lumia City. Then we have the logo here. I'm wondering if this logo is for a specific group. Like maybe there's a group that is behind the redevelopment plan, and this is the emblem of that group. Or could this just be a new logo that they developed for the city itself? So this could be like the Lumia City logo icon. But these are confidential documents, so they have to belong to someone. Pokemon Legends Z. And we have the Zygarde. And this is big because the people wanted a Pokemon Z ever since Black and White, or not Black and White, ever since X and Y release. So this is sort of a tongue-in-cheek way Game Freak saying, here's your Pokemon Z after all these years. You finally get the Pokemon Z, the Z to the X and Y that we always wanted. Then we have this tower here. It's not Lumia's tower. It's different from the Zygarde scales, indicating that there's something other than the Zygarde here. Could this be another Pokemon being represented? So there's Zygarde and something. Or could this be indicating a new form for Zygarde? So Zygarde, another form. Because this is Pokemon Legends Z. Or is it Z dash? Could this be an A? Is it Z and Alpha? Alpha? Z and Alpha? But then what Pokemon could be related to the A if it's two separate Pokemon? Could be a brand new Pokemon. Let's see. there were new forms introduced, new variations of existing Pokemon, and some brand new Pokemon, because we got Weirdeer, which is a new evolution. We got the Quillfish evolution, that was brand new Pokemon, and what are the others? Basculegion was another brand new Pokemon. So yeah, we got a decent number of new Pokemon. So we could get new Pokemon in the game as well as brand new Mega Evolutions to existing Pokemon. But that would have to mean this game would have to have access to a decent number of Pokemon to give some new Mega Evolutions to existing Pokemon. And perhaps new Mega Evolutions for the any brand new Pokemon introduced. There we go, the Mega Evolution symbol. It's returning after all these years. So that was a very interesting, it's a very interesting Pokemon Direct. I think that the new format is really nice. It gets through the spin-off news pretty quickly. I like that new format. So we don't spend as much time on a spin-off stuff because people aren't really that interested in that information. It's good to know, but it's not something you're going to spend a whole lot of time on. So I'm glad they've streamlined that. It was a good trailer drop. Unexpected, like I said at the outset, when it was revealed, I don't think anyone had Legends Z on their bingo card or speculations. So, well, very good on Game Freak for doing that. Good, I'm happy. Overall happy with this Direct, or Pokemon Presents. And I'm excited to see more about Legend Z. Hopefully we will probably get some more, because there are some more, even though they generally don't do new Pokemon information reveals in Nintendo Direct. So even if there are some Nintendo Directs that might be on the slate for the future, I don't think any brand new Pokemon news is going to be revealed in them, but they will reveal new information over time as it gets closer to the game's release. It's a simultaneous release in 2025, which that makes me think it might be early 2025, especially if there's going to be a game at the end of 2025. So like the year Legends Arceus released, I think we'll get Legends Z. Oh, there it is. I didn't even pay attention to the title of the video. Pokemon Legends ZA. So ZA. Pokemon Legends ZA. Which is what I was thinking when I looked at the symbol second time. Let's see if the description has anything. New adventure awaits within Lumia City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape the city into a place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. New adventure within Lumia City, urban redevelopment plan. So yeah, that indicates present day or a little bit into the future Lumia City, and it's an urban redevelopment plan, so they're redeveloping Lumia City to shape it, reshape it. So yeah, that was a solid Direct, I think. I want to say I give it a B. I say a B because no gameplay footage was shown. I think gameplay footage would have bumped this up. Gameplay footage for Legends ZA would have bumped this up to an A. Maybe even an S, because that combined with the new truncated announcements so that we don't spend so much time on things like Cafe Remix or Unite. Kind of get that information out there quickly and move on. Got this new compact 12-minute format, which I think is good. So yeah, I think a solid B+. I'll say B+. It also it was able to shock and surprise, which is always good. And it was a pleasant surprise. It wasn't not the same old, even though, yes, Legends was on the speculation, so the community was part right about Legends, speculating that it would be Legends. They were off in what game it would be, because people were either thinking it would be a Legends related to Black and White, or Legends related to Johto. And in my mind, I really did not want a Legends related to Johto, because what would they do? Because Johto and Sinnoh are so connected, like the ancient people from Johto travel to Sinnoh. So Legends Johto would be just a lot of retread of stuff from Legends Sinnoh. It would be ancient times, the same ancient people, the ancient Shinjo people before they moved to Johto, or before they moved from Johto to Sinnoh. There's not a whole lot to explore there. So I'm glad that they took this route. Lumiose City, reintroduction of Mega Evolutions, is a huge thing. Very, very much wanted by fans. So I think they made the right call. Very happy and surprised with this Pokemon Direct. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.